Hello people of YouTube, it's Deephack here and welcome to the live stream, my channel update and DCS World News. I hope that you all enjoyed the most recent Harrier tutorial video there. That was the Maverick missile tutorial where I demonstrated the infrared Mavericks and the laser Mavericks. I am monitoring the text chat just on the side here. Feel free to post any comments or questions that you might have. Also, I'm more than happy to do the occasional shout out if you if you say hello in the chat. I am watching. And as far as a channel update goes, my next Harrier video, which will be next week, this time next week, is going to be ship operations in the Harrier. Posting comment now. Hello Tog, welcome to the stream. So yes, next week we're going to be operating off of the USS Tarawa. So I'm going to demonstrate the short takeoff, racing along the deck and then bouncing off at the end. And I'm also going to demonstrate a vertical landing style recovery back on the Tarawa. So that should be a lot of fun, and it should be a real challenge, a real demonstration of my flying abilities, because neither of these operations is necessarily very easy, although it's made far simpler if you pay attention to the VREST page, which will tell you about all of your limitations. So yeah, that's coming next week, and there is only one more Harrier video coming after that, and that will be vertical takeoffs and landing. Hopefully without pushing the eject button. Yes, exactly, Tog, exactly. I do intend to remain inside the aircraft. That's the plan. Unfortunately, Dot Chuckles is not with us this week. He's not able to join, so you're stuck with just my good self when it comes to doing the news update. But nonetheless, I have some bits and bobs to go over with you. The next DCS World update is a quite large one, and it is still scheduled for the 14th of April, so that's going to be this Wednesday. And this is the one that's going to include really a whole bunch of stuff, but I would say the kind of big item really coming up is the new clouds, the brand new clouds for DCS World, and they are looking pretty damn good. But that said, there are actually a bunch of other items which are coming as well. They actually just posted yesterday, of course, the weekly newsletter with a bunch of stuff. And of course, once again, showing off the clouds. Something new that they haven't mentioned before is they're completely redoing the propeller blades for the World War II aircraft. Some people were making fun of this on Facebook. There were a few kind of funny posts about it because the way they word it is sort of entertaining. So a notable update coming to 2.7 is our unique and new technology that calculates the exact location of every propeller blade. And somebody posted up on Facebook saying that Eagle Dynamics was now going to be calculating the exact position of every atom in the universe, and that this might have some impact on your frame rate. A little bit unfair, but humorous nonetheless. So yes, we are getting brand new propellers, and there is a video, in fact. There is a video demonstrating it, but I don't have that up right now. So you'll need to imagine it. I think it's either on Matt Wagner's channel or it's on the DCS World channel. I watched it and it is actually looking really, really good. I don't think I've ever seen propellers looking this good in a flight simulator. So that's cool. We then have an absolute jumble of new features for the FA-18, which are looking really nice. We already went over some of those in last week's news update, but we have, of course, the AT Fleur, which we've already discussed, the new harm modes, and they're now talking about coupled autopilot. And I'm just going to play in the background for you all the video where Matt Wagner demonstrates that. It looks like a really interesting new feature. It's something that a lot of people have been asking for, and basically what it means is the aircraft will follow your waypoints, and it will also follow a course if you set a course to a particular waypoint. It also has the capability of following a TACAN station, and it can also follow a TACAN station using course. Leo, welcome to the stream. So exited for 2.7. I'm sorry, I don't know I don't know what that means, but yeah, 2.7 is confirmed for Wednesday. So anyway, this is Matt Wagner's video demonstrating coupled autopilot mode, and when you have a waypoint or a TACAN station selected, you get this extra mode on the bottom of the autopilot UFC page, and you can simply click on that and your aircraft will then follow the waypoint that you have selected. So that's a pretty nice update coming for the Hornet. The other one that we're getting is some new radar modes in the form of the wide auto acquisition dogfight mode. We've had the automatic acquisition mode in the game for a while, but this wide one, it's basically the same. The only difference is that you can actually steer it using the TDC. Leo, excited for 2.7. I totally agree with you. I'm very excited for 2.7. Looking forward to it very much. So yeah, this is basically the same as the wide acquisition mode, but you can steer it. I'm just going to fast forward. So yeah, normally you have this box showing you basically the area that the radar is scanning, and if we fast forward through the video just a little bit, we should see that he has the ability to steer it. When does he get to that point? Here we go. So here you can see you now actually have a slewable area. The other really cool thing, I'm actually more excited about this one, is a mode called Spot. This reminds me a little bit of something that you can do with the Lightning II targeting pod, where you can have a particular target designated, but then you can move the cursor and push and hold, and actually, yeah, he's actually just done it in the video here, and it will search a particular area of the radar. The kind of the scope basically. So he's doing it now. He moves the cursor. I think he pushes and holds TDC, and what it does is it actually shifts the radar to scan that area for a period of time, and you get this little yellow cross as he just demonstrates here. So it means that you can have the radar in quite a tight mode, so only scanning 20 or 40 degrees or so, and yeah. You can suddenly kind of point the radar somewhere else for a moment if you think there's going to be a target over there. So you can detect those UFOs just like in real life, says Tog. Yes, indeed. And then the other one that we've got coming for 2.7, this is actually for the A10C, and it's a new mode for the Maverick called Space Stabilize. Now, I get the impression that this is something that was employed in the A10 before the advent of the Lightning II targeting pod. I can imagine this kind of a mode would be very, very useful back when, probably even in the A10A, when they were basically using Mavericks as a targeting pod before they had one. Because what it allows you to do is it allows you to hold the Maverick pointing in a particular direction with ground stabilization. So even as you maneuver the aircraft, the image is going to stay pointed at that point on the ground. And that's kind of cool. That allows you to maneuver around, get yourself ready to take a shot, and then you can slew and take the shot. The only thing that concerns me a little bit is it requires you to hold down the TDC, and of course for a lot of us, depending upon the particular HOTAS that we have, we might not actually be able to do that. With my HOTAS you can kind of do it, but it's really tricky to do, and I know that with the Warthog throttles, their TDC, it's just not possible. But here you can see him demonstrating it here. He's holding down his TDC, the Maverick is continuing to look at a particular location, he can even slew it, but he needs to keep holding it down, and when he lets go, it then will actually lock up. So quite a nice feature for the A10. Again though, I feel like it's something that you're probably only going to make use of if you don't have the Lightning II targeting pod on the aircraft. It's kind of your poor man's targeting pod. Back in the good old days when the only enemy you had to watch out for was the commies coming from East Germany, says Tog. Yes, that's very much the A10A era, I would say. And yeah, as I said before, 2.7 is coming. Eagle sent out their newsletter yesterday and went over a bunch of stuff, but it's all the things that we've already discussed here. So let me see, what do they say for the F-18? AT Fleur, coupled autopilot, new radar modes, new harm modes. Following the release of DCS World 2.7, we will release additional Hornet features that include the Slammer, offset aim points, that's cool. That's actually something that you can already do in the Harrier, which is kind of cool. Raid single target track mode, new flares with increased carriage. So Very, very exciting. And they also have a development report on the harm, which they've put a lot of effort into recently. I'm not going to read out all of this because it's kind of technical and it goes into a lot of detail, but I suggest that you all take a quick look at the newsletter that was released yesterday. But it looks like they're really trying to simulate the capabilities of the harm in quite a realistic fashion, which is nice. Other news items that I wanted to raise for this week. This is actually an older one, but I just noticed it. Over on helisimmer.com, they had an article about the pilots that are going to be part of the Kiowa Warrior. And kind of a cool shout out is that the two pilots, this is of course very early, they're probably going to update the textures and so on, but the two pilots for the Kiowa are actually going to be two real Kiowa pilots. And we're going to have represented for the very first time a female pilot, which is really cool. I think that's really nice. And also the fact that these are real people is really kind of cool. So apparently we have Jeff Tucker in the right-hand seat, and we have Jamie Colazzo in the left seat. So that's kind of exciting that we have these two real people represented. And I believe that they are members of the DCS community as well. So there you go. Pretty cool, I thought. But still no news on the Kiowa Warrior. It's been, even in the Kiowa forum, it has been like deathly quiet. And that's very, very, well, I'm sure there are reasons for it. And I would assume, kind of as we discussed last week, myself and Chuckles, almost certainly the reason for that is DCS World continues to be a moving target. But nonetheless, I hope that things are going well for them. I'm really excited to see this module. So go Polychop. Go Polychop. But of course, at the same time, take your time. We're looking for a nice DCS level module here, and I'm sure that you will deliver. Byron, not massively convinced by those models. I find most pilot models in DCS pretty bad. I kind of liked. I like the pilot model that Polychop did for the Gazelle. I think it actually was pretty convincing. The eyes of your left-seater were a little bit creepy. I've got to say, these eyes here, these are actually much better. And this is, of course, almost certainly pre-production, so that they might be fiddling with these a little bit before release. And then also, I have to say, Razbam, with their laser scanning technology, the pilot bodies, especially for VR, that they've created for the Mirage and for the Harrier are really quite good. And it's unfortunate that most of the time when I'm creating videos for you guys, I'm not actually turning the pilot bodies on. I absolutely should, because they look pretty damn good. And they add to the immersion when you're in VR, of course, if you can look down and see your own legs. That's always pretty good. And last item, and this was Supercarrier upcoming features. And this was actually in the previous newsletter. For some reason I didn't discuss this last week. But it's newsletter for the 2nd of April. New features coming for the Supercarrier. So for the Supercarrier, we're going to be getting some new 3D locations that we can actually make use of in-game. The first one being the Air Boss. And here, this is what the Air Boss looks like. They've said at some point they're also going to implement Mini Boss, but Air Boss is over here. And from the Air Boss station, they're going to make it possible for you to control deck floodlights, speed and direction of the carrier, monitor the plat camera. In addition, we will implement launch and recovery operations from the Air Boss via 5MC messages. I do not have the faintest clue what that means. If anybody can fill me in there, please do so. I don't know what that means at all. Okay, Tog is just baiting me in the chat. And then the other location that's going to be added for the Supercarrier is the 3D briefing room. Now, this one is actually pretty cool. For those of you like myself who are members of virtual squadrons, being able to sit in a virtual briefing room on board the carrier and plan out your mission sounds kind of exciting. So let's see what they have to say here. Carrier command mode, says Tog. The 3D briefing room will offer interactive squadron meeting capability. This is particularly interesting for multiplayer action, pre-mission start, and for after-action review. And then they start talking about their integrated voice chat. And I don't know if this is a popular opinion or not, but I don't know why Eagle are wasting time implementing VoIP when you have Discord, number one, and then when it comes to in-game comms, SRS, DCS SRS, Simple Radio Standalone is the bee's knees. I don't know I don't know what they're doing. Why are they doing this? SRS is so much better. Just support SRS. And of course, they already do. In modules like the Hornet, they have they have made efforts to support SRS in allowing us to set the IFF codes. Same with the F-16, in fact, and giving SRS access to the MIDS radios. So good work there, Eagle, on helping SRS integrate. Just concentrate on doing that. Everybody, you're solving a problem that 100 other people have already solved. We don't need another VoIP solution. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. So each pilot seat in the briefing room includes an interactive tablet that will allow you to control the fueling and arming of your aircraft. Whew, that is cool. That is just absolutely cool. So I'm very excited for this, actually. Just look at that. And the thing is, I've been to the USS Hornet in California, and I've been to their briefing room on board that carrier, and it did kind of look like this, although there were more whiteboards on that one where they had things like landing scores and stuff. But anyway, maybe that's in a different part that we're not seeing from this angle. But very, very cool. Very excited to see that. And yeah, we haven't really touched on this very much, but of course they're continuing to work on Guam and the Marinara Islands, which Mariana. That's a pasta sauce. Anyway, these look kind of cool. I don't know that much about these ones, but of course, more maps, more content in general is always going to be a good thing. Of course, being British, I'm very excited to see the Falkland Islands come to fruition, and that's being worked on by Razbam. Although I wonder how many period correct modules we're going to have to fly there, but who knows? Maybe we'll see some cool stuff to fly there. Tog, maybe they're getting official rights to the radio system, maybe. Not a clue. Don't have the faintest or foggiest. But yeah, that is pretty much it for DCS news for this week. Let me know if you guys have got any questions or comments down there in the chat. I'm still monitoring that. But if not, I think I'm going to call it for this week. A little bit of a shorter stream. But I didn't have Dot Chuckles to bounce off of. Perhaps he'll be with us again next week. Hopefully he can make it then. Oh, here we go. Byron, at least Razbam are trying to do a good map and AI combo. Yes, that's true. That's true. They are creating a bunch of units and at least AI modules. I don't know exactly what their plans are for playable, flyable modules on that one, but it looks pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to the Falklands. I think that'll be cool. The more maps, the better, to be honest, says Tog. And I wholeheartedly agree. Even if I have no idea what these places are or where they are, I'll probably get them and I'll probably fly on them. I've got to say my favourite one just now is the Syria map. That's a really interesting map, very detailed, and it's quite a number of different countries. So you can fly all different kinds of missions and visit all kinds of different places there, which is super cool. So, I think with that, I'm going to call it for this week. Thank you all very much for watching. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all that sort of jazz. It's super helpful. I'm really thankful for all of your support. It's just really, really cool. And I'll see you all next time.